A lot of people don't know you could make so much money from the transport sector, but believe me, it is the most lucrative in Nigeria now, that's if not the world. But before I begin, if you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, please do so now by hitting the red subscribe button below. Okay, I'll be starting with just two parts of the transport sector, which is one, the taxi, and two, the tricycle, which is popularly known as the keke napep. I'll be starting with the taxi. From the taxi, you can actually get so much money, and the first day that car leaves your house, it starts bringing in money. Let me tell you how it's done. There are new systems now that came out. I'm sure you must have heard of the Uber, the Taxify, and so have you in the past few years. And those platforms, many people just use them, but they don't know that you actually make money from those sectors. I actually did a lot of research for the past 1 year on how these things work, and I'll be sharing with you briefly on how they work in Nigeria. Now, I met a particular man last week that's concluding my research on it, and he told me about how he brings in those cars and how he gives them out for Uber and how much he makes per time from those taxis, and I'll be sharing with you how it is done. Now, this man imports cars from outside the country. He told me that when you're importing those cars, the foreign used cars, they are actually very good because they are not overused, their mileage is still okay, so it's still more like a brand new car. So he imports them for a cheaper price. Just imagine getting a Toyota Corolla or Camry that is still very much alive, and he's getting it for maybe a total plus clearing and forwarding is getting it for about 1.8 million naira. That's fair enough for buying a car, a very nice Toyota Corolla car. Now he brings that car to the country and gives it out to Taxify. Now Taxify, his Taxify driver brings in 40,000 naira in a week, which means he imported that car for 1.8 million naira and is giving him a fixed amount of 40,000 a week, which means in a year you have 52 weeks. So in a year he's earning 2,080,000 naira from just one car. That's more like an asset to him. You keeping that car at home is more like a liability to you because the rate of the car keeps decreasing. After a year, it's no more that same price. It drops per time. But sending it out to those platforms, he actually hitting a lot of money. I think he has given those people for over 2 years now, and you know how much he has earned. He has earned the money. He has earned back the money he used to buy the car, and he has even earned more from it. So that's just one part of it. You can decide to buy more than one car and keep earning from the taxi. The same with Uber. You can choose to drive it yourself if you want to. That will even be more profitable for you if you are not feeling bad about it. Then the tricycle. This may look small, but even more lucrative than the initial one, than the Uber. The tricycle, in a week, buying a tricycle, you buy a tricycle, I think the one with the cooling system, you buy it for about 620,000. The one with the radiator, you buy it for 690,000 naira. Now, having bought that tricycle, you give it out to those people that ride it per day. Now, there are two ways in which they bring the money back to you. It's either you give it out first on hire purchase, or you give the tricycle on daily money. That's they bring back the money to you daily. Now, if you are giving it on hire purchase, which means after a period of time, the tricycle becomes the driver's own. That's, you give it to him and he starts his own business from from that point. So he has to give you a fixed amount of money after a stipulated time. But if it's the daily pay, which means they'll bring a specific amount of money per day to you, and you having that amount means they are bringing it to you, but the tricycle is still for you. Now, here's how it works. If they are bringing it daily to you, they might decide to bring a sum of 14,000 naira per week or 12,000 naira per week. So depends on how it's calculated. So in 4 weeks, that's in a month, you are earning about 48,000 naira, and the keke napep is still for you. In a year, you are earning close to 600,000, and the keke napep is still from you. So the investment is more like, after the first year, the first year is majorly just to get the return on investment. Then afterwards, you start earning your profit. But some might even give you higher, which is that from the first year you get your return on investment and even some profits. But the best type, I would say, is the hire purchase, because when you tell the drivers that it will be their own after maybe a stipulated time of 1 year, they tend to maintain the tricycle for long. But if it's the daily pay, they feel it's not theirs, so they can misuse it whenever they want to. So if you are giving it out on hire purchase, what you're going to do is, I was in Lagos some days back, and I entered the tricycle, and I asked the driver that, okay, what plan is he on, and he told me he was on the hire purchase. I said, how much do you give your boss back? How much are you going to give your boss back after the stipulated time? He told me his is for 1 year, and he's going to give his boss 1.1 million naira at the end of the year. So that's actually almost double the amount the owner used to buy his keke napep. So just imagine having 2 of such keke napep. You buy it for about 600,000, and you are being given 1.1 million naira back. That's approximately, you are earning 500,000 naira on just one tricycle, which means if you have 2 or 3, if you have 2, you earn about 1 million naira per year. If you have 3, you earn about 1.5 million naira per year. There's no startup business that can give you that in a year. So consider the transport sector is actually very, very lucrative. I've tried it, and it worked so well. The bus, I won't really advise so many people to go into the bus type, because except if you are going into the luxurious buses, if you have enough money for luxurious buses. I know the luxurious buses, they are about, I think each luxurious bus, with the last time I checked, is about 50 to 60 million naira. If you go once, I transported from Kaduna State to Lagos State using the Landstar bus, and it was about 8,500 naira, and it was a 50-seater bus. So if you calculate that per time, that's per movement, they earn over 400,000 naira. That's for the owners. Then probably it pays the driver and others. So that's actually very lucrative if you have the funds for it. So thank you so much. Thank you for watching my video. Please, if you haven't clicked the subscribe button yet, you can do so now by hitting the subscribe button. Like this video, subscribe, watch our other videos that are coming up. There are several business videos that are popping in every day, so don't miss out on any. Bye.